Hello Nighthawks, and welcome to your workout of the week. I hope you enjoyed last week's workout, which is actually, I think it's called the 44 or 40 movements using your own body weight on YouTube. I'm anxious to see how many of those that you guys could do. I know that I could probably attempt all of them. At this point, I probably will not attempt all of them. But the point is, it shows you that you do not need to be going to a gym all the time to be able to get some intense exercise. So this week, we're going to talk about stretching. Stretching is something that we probably don't do enough. I know we've done some before practice before. But I want you to get in the habit of stretching before your activity as well as after your activity. Now, I realize most of you guys are young, limber, 13, not quite 14 years old yet. You probably don't think about it too much. But as you get more involved in sports, as you get more involved with life, you're going to find that you're going to get a little bit tighter, a little bit more sore, and you're going to need some more flexibility and some more flexibility exercises with that. I'm just about a month before my 40th birthday, and I can tell you that I've actually included in my workouts every week where I just do one simple 1 hour stretch as part of my workouts over the course of my 5-6 workouts a week. Just one is simply a stretch workout. That's how important it is, as certainly I've gotten older. So we're going to start top down as far as with our stretches. These are going to be pretty basic. Really what you're looking to do is hold about 30 seconds. Now the important thing is here you go until you feel the stretch. It doesn't mean you have to go beyond that and hurt yourself. But what you want to do even before you start your stretching is get about 5 minutes of warm-up, whether it's jumping rope, and it could be jumping jacks, running in place, things like that. You want to get your body going to where your muscles are warm, and then you start your stretch routine. So, starting with the upper body, we're simply going to start with the neck. Many of you, as you develop your trap muscles for football and your shoulder muscles, you're going to get a stiff neck. Some of you may even experience that when you're stressed, when you have tests to take, things of that sort. So what I want you to do is have open hands, just hold them to the side, keep your shoulders down, and you're going to look at just rotating to one side for about a 5-second hold, and then to the other side for about a 5-second hold. And you're going to do about 5 on each side. The important thing is you don't want to shrug here. You want to keep your shoulders down and keep your hands open. That will help you keep your shoulders down. It also prevents you from shrugging when you're trying to loosen those neck muscles up. So about 5 each side there. Next, we're going to get into the shoulders and the arms a little bit. One of my favorite shoulder exercises, or I should say stretch exercises, is simply bringing the arm across. I like to actually cup the arm with the opposite arm and hold that. And I'll do that for about 30 seconds. I'll hold that up in that arm just straight across the chest, and this one I'm cupping at the elbow. From there I'll move into the same arm where I go into a shoulder / tricep. And looking from the back, you're going to see what I'm doing here, stretching this tricep, holding that for about 30 seconds. So once I'm done with that arm, then I'll go to the other arm, same thing here, 30 seconds, working up to here, get up to 30 seconds. Okay? That's a lot of your upper body stretching right there already. From there, I like to get into some maybe abdominal stretching, some side stretching, some of the oblique stretching, and it's simply going to be a side stretch. Again, looks simple. It's something we don't do enough considering how much core exercise we've been doing the last 5 weeks. You're going to hold that for about 30 seconds. Really, I'm having this arm up in the air at a slight bend. This one I'm reaching for my bottom heel and trying to pull myself over a little bit. You're done with that side, again you're going to go to the other side for about 30 seconds. So when you think about what we did upper body there, we did some shoulder, we did some arm, we did some neck, and now we did some torso. Moving from there, we're going to get into some simple lower body stretches. One of my favorite to do, as far as with the hamstrings, is get my legs a little wider in shoulder width. I'm not going to be locking my knees, and I'm simply going to start by kicking my glutes out, my butt out, and just doing a hanging stretch. What I'm doing here is I'm not forcing the issue, stretching the back of my legs, sitting here for about 30 seconds, and then what I'll do for a secondary hamstring stretch is many times I'll bring over a yoga block or something else I can use, because I can push myself down to a flat position with my palms. Some of you may not be there. You may be tight in a hamstring, or you just had a strenuous workout or got done with a basketball game. It's nice to be able to use something like a yoga block, put that there, and I'll use that, and I'll simply actually press into the ground. with this, which is going to help me aid my stretching. It's adding my stretching by pressing that into the ground. Another alternative you can do with that is simply with one, reaching back with the opposite arm, holding that for about 10 seconds, coming to neutral, going back here again for about 10 seconds. Again, you're focusing on your hamstrings there, getting some lower back as you work that. From there, I'm going to go into some of my hip flexor exercises. Some of you last year during the football season were tight here. It's called your iliopsoas area. Very common for football, basketball, track, things of that sort where you're going to get stiff. My favorite one to do there is simply I'm going to get down in this position. Now it's important to do this one correctly. What I mean by that is you want about 90 degrees here. You want this knee back, and you just want to sit up. And what you can do is keep yourself positioned up and then move forward a little bit. A lot of people will do this where they get in that position, or they'll get to where that knee gets ahead of the toe. Simply what you want to do is sit up and kind of sit into the position and push forward a little bit while you remain your posture up. I'll hold that for a good 30 seconds, sometimes 45, because I tend to get tight in that quadriceps psoas area. Then again, I'll go do that to the other side. Same type of thing. I'm sitting up, 90 degrees here, just going to push into my hips a little bit and hold it. From there, I like to get in and stretch some more of the hips and the glute. And this can be a little bit of an advanced exercise. There's a couple different ways you can do this. Basically, I'm working on stretching my inner thigh here, the groin area. But what I want to do is I like to balance myself so I keep this heel on the ground. A lot of times you'll see people do this and they're leaning forward, the knees forward and on their toe. You're going to get more of a quadricep exercise there and maybe not as much of an inner thigh. What I want to do is really stretch this out at the same time stretching the hip on this side, so I'm trying to keep the heel down. I'll hold that for 30 seconds. I'll come to the other side, the same type of thing. Don't be afraid to use the ground to balance here. Again, this heel staying down, I'm leaning into it, stretching this here at the same time that outer hip. And I hold that for 30 seconds. Okay, we're going to focus a lot on the legs here, but we can't forget the quadriceps. Really your second biggest area of your muscles as far as with your legs, since you have 4 of them here, hence the name quadricep. Your biggest muscle in the body is obviously your glute. So what I like to do is you can either get something to balance on, or if your core is tightened and you learn to use that, I like to use a one-legged stretch. And really what I try to do here is maybe stick a hand out if I need balance. But the key is you'll see I don't have the leg out and I'm not leaning forward with it. Again, I'm trying to keep my posture up, bringing my knee in so it's touching, and just trying to stretch that quadricep out. This is one exercise that you don't have to stretch any further than where you feel the pull. What I mean by that is, when I was your age in gym class, they used to have us do what's kind of a modified kind of a hurdler stretch, and they'd have us, I'll see if we can go back there. We found that that's just not good for your knees. It really doesn't stretch the area of the quadricep that you need to stretch, and if anything, it can hurt you. So stick with this for your quadricep stretch, and then stick over to the other side too. Make sure you're working both sides equally. You're going to find that you're probably going to be better balanced on one versus the other. Again, that's perfectly normal. So now we worked the back of our legs, we worked the hips, we worked the psoas, we worked the quadriceps. Last thing I want to show you is the calf area. Okay? A lot of people see calf stretches where you have a toe elevated, maybe on a step, maybe on a short footstool, somewhere on a curb, and you do this. This is perfectly good. That's a good stretch. But with your calf, you have actually 2 muscles. You have a soleus and you have a gastrocnemius. And what you want to make sure is you want to stretch both. So there's one good stretch that you can do with both feet, obviously. You can do both same time in one or the other. But I'm going to show you a modified calf stretch that I want you to get in the habit of doing. I'll do it from a side angle so you can kind of see what I'm doing. And you may have not seen this before. I'm going to put one leg out straight. The back leg I'm going to be at a bend. I essentially have one in front of the other to where my heel and my toe are just about completely lined up. And what I'm going to do is just simply lean forward, keeping that back heel on the ground. And as I lean forward, I'm going to feel a different area, maybe a little bit lower towards my Achilles tendon. And I'm going to feel that lower area stretch. Looking from the other side, again, same type of thing. This is a different type of calf exercise or stretch that you haven't seen before, but it's going to be as equally effective as you see with that. So make sure you get in the habit of doing this one too. Again, review these, get a warm-up, do these before your exercise routine, and then do these immediately afterwards. If you have some extreme sore areas, like if some of you get stiff in the lower back, maybe you get stiff in the psoas area, and you just had a hard workout, really get in the habit of icing too. It doesn't hurt after every exercise to go ahead, and when I say every exercise, a hard exercise and maybe that certain part of the body sore, to go ahead and ice that for 5 minutes. I know something I need to do more often, but whenever I do, I can tell my recovery's that much quicker. So, review these, get in the habit of looking at doing these probably at least 3 times a week, depending on how often you're working out, but definitely look at it every time you train. So until then, 2013 Nighthawks are Nation Bowl champions.